Hey everybody, I'm Doug, that's Connor, and you're listening to the Bethel School District Presents podcast, the podcast that promises you all the school district news you can use in 15 minutes or less, or the next one is free. And we have a jam-packed show for you today, an episode we're calling Bethel Mythbusters. And Connor, you and I are here to bust some myths and answer some questions about a lot of things going on in our district. But of course, before we do that, we need to take a little time for useless trivia, because that is why my dad tunes in.
Yes, we can't let your dad down here. And I know I've been going pretty darn heavy on the sports trivia lately, and I don't want to become the sports trivia guy, but I found something this week that was just too good to pass up, and that is, Doug, did you know that in the last 40 years, every time a new pope is elected, the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl?
Is that a fact?
It is absolutely a fact, and it's bizarre. 2005, Pope Benedict is elected. Seahawks go to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, lose to your Stillers. 2013, Pope Francis is elected. Seahawks go on and win the Super Bowl. And now, 2025, Pope Leo is elected, and wouldn't you know it, the Hawks are going to the Super Bowl.
How about that?
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Wild. Yeah, really, really interesting. And my Stillers stole that game real good.
They did. I'll never forgive them.
Well, I don't have anything that good, but with the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, go Hawks. Going to be a fun game, and that is a great piece of useless trivia. Mine is useless, but it is also Bethel School District related. Our transportation team recently talked to the school board, and they gave some pretty interesting facts about their operation over there. So, Connor, did you know that our school buses last year drove 2.6 million miles? Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. That's like traveling to the moon and back 5.4 times. It's also like driving nonstop for 4.6 years at 65 miles an hour.
Holy mackerel, when you put it like that, that is a lot of driving, and well done to our amazing drivers and bus assistants for keeping our kids safe when they're on the road that often.
Absolutely. Now, how much gas would you think it would take to go 2.6 million miles?
At least 40 gallons? I don't know.
I mean, with gas prices the way they are, that's still a lot of money. We are talking last year, 418,537 gallons of gas. Now, my weird fact for you is that's enough to fill 64% of an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Okay. That's one way of thinking about that. That's perspective.
It doesn't make it sound like a lot.
I was going to say that's less than I would have thought. I would have thought you could have told me 100 swimming pools, and I would have said that's okay.
Well, I could tell you 16 backyard swimming pools, but I don't have dimensions for those. I can tell you that an Olympic-sized swimming pool is 660,000 gallons of water.
Okay. Well, that is a lot of gas, and that's a lot of driving. We do have a great team over there.
We do, and there are 136 route drivers and 17 full-time substitutes. We would love to get to 30 full-time substitutes, and we do have a hiring event coming up for that. That's February 10th. That is, of course, also Levy Election Day, so drop that ballot in the ballot box and get on over to our transportation department from 2 to 6 p.m. You can get the address at bethelsd.org, or if you're feeling it, you can apply right now at jobs.bethelsd.org. And Connor, 136 route drivers. There are, and I'm not kidding, 3,657 bus stops in Bethel.
You're just a fountain of trivia today about our transportation department, but all very fascinating and really gives our great listeners a better idea of just how vast our district is and how much we count on our drivers to get their students to school safely every darn day.
Absolutely. So we have a really fun show ahead, and we're going to bust some myths that we have been seeing. Of course, with the levy elections here, we're getting lots of questions. In fact, Superintendent Lowney just recently hosted a coffee with the superintendent. We called it Decaf Coffee with the Superintendent because it was at night. And there were a lot of folks there, people from the community, family members. One guy showed up, had his ballot and a printed list of questions. And I love that he got a chance to sit down with the superintendent and get all of his questions answered and cast his ballot the way he wanted to. So I thought that was fantastic. There is one more opportunity to chat with the superintendent about that in person, and that is going to be on February 9th, the day before Election Day, from 6 to 7 p.m. in the boardroom at the ESC. ESC, the Educational Service Center here in Spanaway. And so that is your chance for some last-minute levy questions. Of course, we will answer some levy questions here in just a bit. So, Connor, we've both been here in District for a while. What would you say is the number one myth that people bring up time and time again?
This one is actually easy, and we both know it because it is almost constant, and it's been constant since we've been here, and that is pools. Everyone has a myth about pools. We have paid for pools and they didn't build them. We've built pools that weren't paid for. There are secret pools underground.
I love the secret pools.
So that has got to be the number one. So the question is, Doug, does the new Bethel High School have a pool?
Well, let me bust that myth right now. There is not a pool at the new Bethel High School. That was not part of the bond package. The last time a pool was actually in a bond package was one of the ones that failed. I think it was back in 2016. But the bond that passed in 2019 did not have a pool as part of it, and we are not in the business of building stuff our voters didn't approve.
So no pool, but you were just over at the new site, which is coming along swimmingly. And they have some amazing, amazing features at the new Bethel High School. Why don't you walk us through a couple of those?
Yeah, and you can actually walk through with me. I took a video of it. It's on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel of that tour, so you can check that out for yourself. But I was really surprised, even just driving up, there's outdoor signage on the building already, and there's a sign that says, right on the building, Pierce College Bethel campus. And I had to ask, what's that all about? There are 4 dedicated classrooms for Pierce College to hold college-level classes at Bethel High School. Those are going to be for community. They're going to be for Running Start students. It's going to be awesome. And that actually was not part of the bond. There was a grant involved that paid for those classrooms. So that's just an added extra for our community. Really awesome. Going inside, I was really wowed at a lot of different places. There is a dedicated welding classroom. Some of the science classrooms just look 22nd century, if that's even a thing. Just some state-of-the-art stuff going in. And then the most under construction place I was glad to have my hard hat in was the theater. I swear it felt like it was 3 stories tall in there. There was scaffolding up to the ceiling. It's going to be 500 seats. The backstage just felt gigantic, where they can bring scenery in and out. And there is, I kid you not, an orchestra pit, a first in the district, a pit where the orchestra can sit in so they're not blocking the stage while there's a performance. A really cool opportunity for our theater kids and our music kids to be able to perform together. So just an amazing building. I can't wait for people to be able to see it.
It is. I saw the video. I wasn't able to go on that tour, but I saw the video, and it is a beautiful facility, and this is a perfect time to say thank you, voters. That 2019 bond has really come through and revamped our entire district. Just off the top of my head, projects that were completed from that 2019 bond: Challenger High School's Phase 2 expansion, Evergreen Elementary modernization and expansion, Expedition Elementary, brand new school, Graham Kapowsin High School expansion, Catherine G. Johnson Elementary, brand new school, new Notchies Trail Elementary, another beautiful new campus, security camera upgrades across the district, turf fields at Graham Kapowsin and Spanaway Lake High Schools, and we still have another brand new school coming. That's going to be the new Cedar Crest, which will be here in a couple years.
Thank you, voters. We appreciate you, and we're really excited to share the news of what is happening with your tax dollars.
So glad we were able to bust that swimming pool myth. Another one we get, which isn't necessarily a myth, but more just a legitimate question from parents, is what's the deal with these late start Mondays? What's going on there? Do the teachers just want to sleep in a little bit more? Clear that up for us, Doug.
Well, I want to sleep in all the time, but that is not what Late Start Mondays are all about. And we actually, our school board had a study session all about our PLC and PLT teams. Now, that's an acronym they broke down, and I'm not going to get too in the weeds on it. PLC means Professional Learning Community. For example, the district is a professional learning community, and a PLT is like a 3rd grade team at one of our schools that gets together, and they plan and get ready for their students for that day. So that is one thing that the Late Start Mondays are used for. Now, these PLT teams can meet at other times as well, and what they do is they are really looking at student learning, long-term academic success, and making sure there's equitable access to rigorous, high-quality content for all students. And they do that by really digging into the data. There is a lot of decision-making that is made based on student data, curriculum, and this shared approach to professional learning is awesome for our students because they are there talking about not students as a body, individual students what that kid needs to get to the next level.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you lay it out like that. And the funny thing, I was watching that study session, and they were using a lot of cooking metaphors there, which is interesting because one of our board members, Director Mayers, is actually kind of a world-class chef.
As a chef, one of the things that we talk about is mise en place, is having everything in order. A lot of the work that goes in the kitchen is about the preparation. So seeing the preparation of everyone in the work that you're doing that's unseen and bringing that to light is appreciated. At the end of the day, the product has to be provided to our customer, which is our student, and we have to perform every day.
And during the presentation, they showed videos of the PLTs in action, going over data, talking about students. So the school board really got to sit in, and then after watching that video, the PLT was there in person and answered questions. PLTs from 3 different schools were represented, and that really impressed Director Casio.
It's great to see like all the magic happening in real time.
Director Camacho actually agreed about the magic too.
I got a really great visual and understanding of what it is that you're doing when you do the amazing work that you're doing. And it is a lot more in depth than I thought. And I just love the collaboration. My son is absolutely happy about waking up and having to go to school 1 hour later on the days that you're doing this. And I'm going to tell him all about it when I get home. Like, this is what your teachers are doing. And it's just amazing work.
So it's really cool to have the curtain pulled back and take a look at what's going on behind the scenes. You can see the video. It's on our website, bethelsd.org. Just look for the board agendas, and you can find the video there. Deputy Superintendent Dr. Hammond said that he was glad that the community would be able to see this.
The other important thing is not just for you, but for our community, is to show that, and just so happens to be around levy time, that we are good stewards of our resources. So we have parents that every Monday morning, they're thinking, well, this is a pain. What the heck are teachers doing? Well, that's what teachers are doing. They're using their time really, really well, every ounce of time. And then, as you heard, especially from the Cedar Crest group, even time beyond that, they're carving out to have these discussions.
And so there you have it. That's what those late start Mondays are all about. PLTs do meet other times as well, but that extra hour on Mondays is spent focused on how to better serve students, not in general, but each and every individual student. Board President Marcus Young wrapped her all up in a bow for us.
This is what we envision when talking about having these more interactive study sessions. It's not just for us to ask questions and things like that, but interactive from the standpoint that the community can look and be able to see into that ball of this is what goes on in schools.
Well, Connor, this has been fun, but we have only answered 2 questions here. I feel like we should do a little lightning round to play catch up before we run out of time. So let's talk levy. Ballots are in the hands of our voters, and they are deciding on our 2 replacement levies, which of course are the renewal of the Educational Programs and Operations Levy, or EP&O, and Technology Capital Levy. Of course, these are not new taxes, both replacements of expiring measures at the same exact tax rates that voters approved back in 2022. So, Connor, the lightning round begins now. Why do we have levies when the state funds schools?
That's an actually really complicated question, but since we're in the lightning round, I'm going to try to sum it up as succinctly as I can. And the answer is that state funding just doesn't cover everything it needs to cover. And local levies are an essential part of the school funding formula everywhere in the state, which is why 10 Pierce County school districts have EP&O levies on the ballot for renewal right now.
That's right, and there are actually 15 school districts in Pierce County, and I guarantee the other 5 will have their levies up for renewal probably next year.
So another one we get all the time is, doesn't lottery money pay for our schools?
Yeah, that is a good question. And other than a very small portion that's allocated to the state's general fund, none of Washington's lottery revenue is used for K-12 public education. That's the short of it. You can find the full answer at bethelsd.org/levy. Connor, can renters vote?
We hear this one too. This is a very easy one. Yes. That's a short answer. You can.
Love it. And final question, is there a tax break for senior citizens or those with disabilities?
That's a great question. We've heard that one as well. And actually there is. And you can learn more about that at bethelsd.org/levy.
And to wrap us up, Election Day is February 10th. That is on Tuesday, next Tuesday, 6 days from now. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time. Remember, the post office changed their rules about postmarks, so drop it in a ballot box or be sure you get your ballot in the mail a few days ahead of February 10th.
And go Hawks.